Good evening and welcome to Gay Newsbreak. I'm John Beebe.
I'm Dorinda Boswell.
Well, with only a short time left before the November 3rd elections, the Oklahoma Gay and Lesbian Political Caucus, the OGLPC, is running short of funds to prepare its voter guide and to send out final mailings. According to Paul Thompson, OGLPC male co-chair, the group has exhausted its coffers and needs help from the community to make sure voters have the information they need before Election Day arrives. Many of the expenses the group has incurred this year have come from surveying candidates on issues of importance to minorities, including gay and lesbian community, and from printing the primary election voter guide, requests for which more than doubled since the last elections. To compound matters, donations to the organization are down almost 50% this year. Thompson says our voter guides will be more comprehensive for the November 3rd general elections, which means more of them will need to be printed and mailed out. This is not the time to have to scale back our operations. For more information, visit the OGLPC website at www.homestead.com/OGLPC, or you can call 405-791-0202. Dorinda?
Thank you. There is a nationwide call for gay rights protection. On Monday, October 12th, a gay University of Wyoming student died. He was beaten and lashed to a split-rail fence. His name was Matthew Shepard, 21 years old. This attack has encouraged calls nationwide for hate crime legislation protecting gays. This last Tuesday evening, Oklahoma City civil rights groups held a candlelight vigil on the Capitol steps for the death of Shepard. A petition was circulated at the event calling for protection of the civil rights of gays and lesbians under municipal and state laws that protect other minorities. Russell Arthur Henderson, 21, and Aaron James McKinney, 22, will be charged with first-degree murder, which carries a possible death sentence.
Responding to national ads placed by the religious right proclaiming homosexuality as something that can be cured, a national dating service has launched a controversial ad campaign of its own. The Confidential Connection, which has ads in most major gay newspapers across the country, including the Gaily, began its campaign with an ad featuring two men embracing under a caption which reads, "Being gay isn't a choice. Finding the right one to date is." The campaign began Labor Day weekend. Gay communities throughout the United States have expressed anger over the summer campaign by a coalition of conservative Christian groups that paints homosexuality as an illness. Appearing in many major cities, those ads carried testimonials from gays and lesbians who claim to have changed their sexual orientation through spiritual conversion or so-called reparative therapy. In contrast, the American Psychological Association, which removed homosexuality from its list of mental illnesses in the early 1970s, has gone on record stating that there is no credible research demonstrating that such cures ultimately succeed.
Oklahoma City's Gay and Lesbian Bombing Victim Task Force will join a host of other original businesses and individuals participating in the groundbreaking ceremony for the bombing symbolic memorial on October 25th at 1 o'clock. The task force collected money from generous donors from all of Oklahoma and across the country to help gay and lesbian bombing victims. After everyone received assistance, they still were able to donate $3,000 to the Oklahoma City National Memorial Foundation to help build the multi-million-dollar symbolic memorial at the bombing site. The community is invited to attend this historic event.
We have some reminders coming up this October, and we're going to talk about a little bit later on in the show in Inside Out. We have some people here that are going to be talking about a ball coming up on Saturday, October 24th. It's the date of the Halloween ball, sponsored by Off AIDS, formerly known as DIFA. This year's theme is Cartoon Calamity, and it's an animated Halloween. The ball will be at Leadership Square at 211 North Robinson from 8 p.m. to midnight, and there will be a $500 prize awarded to the best overall costume. Now, tickets are $30 in advance and $40 at the door, and also you can get your tickets at Jungle Red. And for more information, you can check the number at the end of the show. Also, the COPA will have a dinner and show tonight. Dinner began at 7 p.m. and the show starts at 8 p.m. Ginger Lamar, our famous weather lady, will host the event. And then Stacy Lauren and I will be joined by many other performers to entertain you. So we hope you all can come out and enjoy the show. And Dorinda, I wanted to get out real quick. We just got the information over the wire from the Matthew Shepard Memorial Fund. If you can get a pen, we'll repeat this at the end of the show as well, but you can send donations to the Matthew Shepard Memorial Fund, and it's care of the First National Bank, which is P.O. Box 578 at Fort Collins, Colorado at 80522, and the account number is 1926083. And then you can also send letters and notes of condolence to the family. It's Matthew Shepard and family, care of Padre Valley Hospital, 1024 South LeMay Avenue, and that's in Fort Collins, Colorado at 80524-3998. And again, I said we will repeat that at the end of the show, and we'll try to get it on the community bulletin board for you. Please send your letters of support and also your donations to that family. They've been through quite a lot.
Oh, he had already been beaten up twice prior to this incident.
Well, this just goes to show you that we need a hate crimes law.
Definitely.
We have, I believe, Desmond with the health news coming up. Desmond?
Thanks, John. Candidates are now being selected to participate in the nation's first large-scale preventive vaccine trials against HIV. Dr. Ralph Richter, who is coordinating the clinical trials in Tulsa, says participants must meet certain guidelines and remain committed to the program for 3 years. Tulsa is one of 40 locations in the country to participate in the study. So far, 11 cities have been approved. Approximately 150 candidates are needed for the Tulsa trials. To qualify for the vaccine, among other criteria, you must be a gay male and HIV negative or a female HIV negative who has had sex with HIV positive individuals. For more information, you can call the phone number listed at the end of the show on our community bulletin board. It often strikes males between the ages of 18 and 36 and is more common among whites than blacks. Over the past 25 years, the incidence of testicular cancer has risen by 50%. But the good news is it's almost always curable if detected early. Some of the early warning signs are a lump in or an enlargement of a testicle, a feeling of heaviness or a sudden collection of fluid in the scrotum, or pain in either a testicle or the scrotum. Should you experience any of these symptoms, for more than 2 weeks, consult your health care practitioner. Remember the key phrase, early detection. African American leaders in Alameda County in California have asked the county to declare a public health emergency, stating that HIV is rampant in the black community. Second only to Los Angeles County in the number of African Americans, black leaders say members of their community are more likely to develop critical and chronic health problems and are less likely to receive adequate care. Do women respond differently to HIV therapy than men? The pharmaceutical giant Hoffmann La Roche, in response to the limited availability of clinical data on women, the fastest growing population with HIV, plans the first ever investigational study to examine the difference between men and women's response to anti-HIV therapy. The study is scheduled to begin sometime in the near future. And that wraps it up for your health news this week. John, Dorinda, back to you.
Thank you. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Ricky Staten doing our Inside Out.
I love to work out. I like my body to be perfect. That's because I lead an active social life. I want to look good. But no matter what shape you're in, anyone can get the AIDS virus. And one workout that can protect you from the AIDS virus is not to take risks when it comes to sex.
Find out what kind of behavior puts you at risk. Call your local AIDS hotline or 1-800-342-AIDS.
Says he's a faggot. He has to fix this problem.
I don't think being gay is something we can fix.
Perverted. I don't want him in our house.
He's only 17. Where will he go? But he's our son.
He's not my son anymore. Not my son. Not my son. Not my son. Not my son.
I'm out here every week talking to people about sex. My message is simple. If you're gonna have sex, a latex condom used consistently and correctly could help prevent the spread of HIV and other STDs. People out there gotta understand. That's why I'll go anywhere to talk about latex condoms. Even into your living room.
thanks for staying with us. I'm Ricky Staten. Tonight I'm joined by Jane Hazelton and Tim Scott, both from an organization called Off AIDS. Welcome.
Thank you.
You're both board members of Off AIDS, and I understand, Tim, that you're the chairman of the Halloween party coming up.
Yes, that's correct.
And what's the title of the Halloween party this year?
We are, the theme is the Cartoon Calamity, an animated Halloween ball.
And where's it going to be held?
It will be held at a new venue this year. We're having it at Leadership Square in downtown Oklahoma City. So we hope everyone comes out to see the new space. It'll be pretty exciting.
I'm excited about it. Jane, you were going to tell us a little about the history of Off AIDS?
Off AIDS is a new organization that comes from old roots. We've recently broken with a national organization called DIFA. That was Design Industries Foundation Fighting AIDS. It's a wonderful organization, but we decided we could return the money we raise more quickly and in its entirety if we went on our own. So we have left DIFA, and I need to say, because it involves you and many others, DIFA was the choice some years ago of a group called the Valley Girls from Mars, and they started this wonderful Halloween party and many other ways to raise funds for direct caregivers.
Now, I understand, what does actually Off AIDS stand for?
Oklahoma Friends Fighting AIDS.
So it kind of, it has a nice flow to it, I think.
It has a nice flow, yes, but it also has a good message. We would really like to Off AIDS.
Yes, we would. So, how much are the tickets this year?
They are $30 in advance, and they are $40 at the door that evening. And they can be purchased at 6 different locations: Botanicals, New Leaf Floral, Granada Floral, let me see, I'm going
Jungle Reds,
Jungle Reds, Finesse
Costumes.
Salon here in Norman, and I'm sorry,
Disguise Costumes.
Disguise Costumes.
And we'll have a list of all those organizations, or all those businesses actually, in our community building pages at the end of the show for anyone that needs them. What about parking at Leadership Square?
Well, the parking is free there. There's a parking garage that the entrance is on the north side of the building, and the doors on the north side of the building will be open as well, so you can park on the street if you prefer. But you can come up the escalators, and there will be our admittance table right there, and so either entrance works. So.
And that unlimited parking is part of the glamour of this spot, and it's also very secure. So,
very secure.
You won't have any problem getting into the building from the parking garage.
Unless your costume is too tall.
Yeah.
And what will they get for the cost of admission?
A wonderful party.
Yeah, a wonderful time. For $30, they get a meal, they get all the drinks they would like, they get dessert with the meal, they get dancing. So there's no place else that you could go and
Great
get
music,
that for that
lots
price.
of fun.
And it's the best party in town.
And the people who come have the best costumes anywhere.
It's like Mardi Gras or Carnival.
It's just so
incredible.
much fun. And there's a great prize. There are good prizes for the best costumes. Best single costume, best group.
Couple, best group, and best overall. And they all have great prizes, so you'll have to choose one or the other. We won't let you cross over. So.
Why don't you tell us about the hours the party are, because it's different this year than it's been in the past.
Yeah, it begins at 8 o'clock and will end at midnight. And
so you can wear your costume wherever you want to go at 12 o'clock.
Exactly.
And this
if you don't turn into a pumpkin.
This is the night that you get an extra hour of partying.
Exactly, exactly. And
Uh-huh.
I think some of the clubs are intending to use that as an excuse for a big party. So there will be parties elsewhere that they can attend after they leave ours and go show off their costumes.
How did y'all make the decision to go with Leadership Square? I'm curious.
Well, we really wanted to, we wanted to break new ground. We'd considered this venue several years in a row, and we just finally decided to do it. It's downtown. Hopefully it may attract some new people to it that never even have heard of the party, perhaps, that will see what's going on, and they'll see our posters up in that area. And Diane Dyes there at Leadership Square has been really helpful. She's been, they're great people. It's a great place to throw a party.
Well, great. Well, we'll be right back. We're going to take a public service announcement, and we'll be back with you in a few moments.
It would be nice if latex condoms were automatic. But since they're not, using them should be. Simply because a latex condom used consistently and correctly will prevent the spread of HIV.
Thanks for staying with us. Once again, I'm with Jane Hazelton and Tim Scott, two of the board members of Oklahoma Friends Fighting AIDS, known as OFF-AIDS. In the short time we have left, Jane, is there something you'd like to stress?
There sure is. We said we have a great party. We throw a great party. We also take care of our guests. And if anybody needs a taxi at the end of the evening, we'll get that person taken home safely. We just want you to know that when we throw a good party, it's the whole way.
What are some of the AIDS service organizations that you've helped, that this party has helped to fund in the past?
Oh, we've helped RAIN. We've helped Loaves and Fishes. We have helped Open Your Heart, the Wynn's House in particular. And the Wynn's has 2 locations now. We've helped Northern Lights Alternatives for the AIDS Mastery Workshop.
I'm familiar with all those. They're all great organizations.
They're great. Yeah.
I've always thought that one of the best things about this party is that you get to support these organizations and have a great time. So it's not like just having to fork over money from your pocket. You're getting something back.
You're getting
a wonderful party.
You're getting a wonderful party.
Really
That's
great time.
True. Once again, there are 6 locations around town where people can buy their tickets. The tickets are $30 in advance or $40 the day of the party.
That's correct.
I mean the actual at the
door.
party.
At the door,
because
yes.
you can still buy them the day of the party at one of the 6 outlets.
At one of the outlets.
And the party runs from 8 until midnight,
yes.
And it's also Saturday night, the 24th of October.
Yes, the
And
week
it's
before
called-
Halloween.
It's called, what's the name of the party again?
A Cartoon Calamity, an animated Halloween ball.
Well, I'm excited, and I know I'll be there, and we hope to see everyone there. I think that's about does it for us. Thanks for coming down and joining us. And back to you, John and Dorinda.
I'll tell you what, that sounds like quite a party.
Oh, much fun.
And having it down in Leadership Square is a great idea, and starting at 8 o'clock and ending at midnight, so everyone can go out afterwards and show off their costumes. Maybe I'll see you there.
Well, I just might see you there. Will I recognize you?
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We'll be right back with this public service announcement on ENDA from Representative Barney Frank. Stay with us.
Advising people how to move Congress is very easy. Getting them to follow the advice is very hard, and I get frustrated by that. I want gay men and lesbians to take the National Rifle Association as their model, or maybe the American Association of Retired Persons. Those 2 organizations have a great deal of influence, and you can agree or disagree with the NRA's agenda. That doesn't affect your view of how effective their methods are. You write to members of Congress and you call them, and you don't write to anybody whose name you see in the paper. You write to your representative and your senator. Members of the House and of the Senate listen to their constituents. Not 100% of the time, not on every issue, but one of the biggest impacts on us is what the constituents say. I think things are getting better. Prejudice is somewhat on the defensive, but it's got a lot of kick left. And the key will be to the gay men and lesbians and the people who love us and care for us, care more about ending bigotry than the bigots care about perpetuating it. If you ask the average member of Congress today, he or she has heard more from the bigots who want to perpetuate the bigotry than from those of us who want to oppose it. And until and unless we have enough determination and discipline to reverse that, because I think we have the numbers, if we don't immobilize them, then we're not going to win.
The Employment Non-Discrimination Act, ENDA, would protect gays and lesbians from being fired, from being denied employment, from being discriminated against on the job, from being paid less for doing the same job based solely on one's sexual orientation. Contact your senators and representative and tell them to support ENDA. Get your family and friends to do the same. This is Pat Schroeder. I was one of the original co-sponsors of INDA. Every morning, Congress opens with the Pledge of Allegiance saying liberty and justice for all. And then they work all day to keep hate alive. Remember, liberty and justice for all. What part of all don't we understand?
Welcome back, and with our entertainment news, we have Ricky Staten. Ricky?
Thanks, Dorinda. VH1 is dropping the RuPaul show after 2 seasons, according to the New York Post. The talk show went on the air October 12th of '96. Recently, it passed the 100-episode mark as its 2nd season ended last month. Although RuPaul reportedly had a 3-year contract, VH1 said there are no plans for any new shows, but repeats will air through the end of the year. A spokesman for the singer was quoted as saying, "RuPaul loves TV and RuPaul loves VH1, but if she doesn't continue there, just wait a few minutes and you'll find her someplace else." Well, last week, mainstream media reported that Scott Caan, a 23-year-old actor and son of actor James Caan, was arrested outside a Hollywood bar after he was involved in a fight defending the honor of his date. The New York Post, however, has elaborated on the story. The brawl took place inside a West Hollywood gay bar called the Firehouse. Caan's date was a man by the name of Ross Porterfield. Another man asked Porterfield to dance. This caused the short-tempered Caan to scream, "What in the hell do you think you're doing? This is my lover." A fight broke out, and Caan and Porterfield were arrested outside the bar. In the words of Paul Harvey, now we know the rest of the story. I know I spoke a little about fashion last week, but something weird must be going on in that industry. First, Isaac Mizrahi closed down shop to become an actor/filmmaker. Next, Tom Ford, the openly gay designer at Gucci, is crediting his inspiration this season to Native Americans, Las Vegas showgirls, and Cher. His collection, by the way, was described as superbly exuberant and quirky, I bet. And finally, the VH1 Fashion Awards on Friday, October 23rd, will be hosted by none other than Ellen DeGeneres. Don't get me wrong, I love Ellen, but I would have expected someone more glamorous. RuPaul, maybe. Since Ellen practices the 4 S's of fashion: sweaters, slacks, and sensible shoes. Stay with us. We'll be back in a minute.
Well, Ricky, I'm with you. I would have thought it would have been RuPaul, too. We have Robert Caldwell up with the insight for this week. And Robert, speaking of hate crimes in the aftermath of the brutal killing of Matthew Shepard, you've got a lot to talk about with hate crimes.
It was a very sad ordeal.
Yes, it was.
When a crime or negative action is committed against anyone for something that they have done, that is one thing. When a crime or negative action is committed against someone because of who they are, this is a hate crime. A hate crime affects not someone else somewhere else. It's a crime against your mom because she's a woman, against your brother because he's a Buddhist, against your neighbor because he's black, and a crime against your child because he or she may be gay or transgendered. Legislation has been passed to protect you regardless of your gender, national origin, religion, and even your skin color, but not because of your sexual orientation. Oklahoma is one of the 29 states who has refused to pass any legislation to protect gay rights. Now is the time for our community and for all communities across America and the world to band together. Regardless of your sex, race, creed, national origin, or sexual preference, send the message to your local government and to Washington that enough is enough. Tell them how you feel. Tell them about the rage, the guilt, the depression, and the fear that the victims of these hate crimes feel. Send the message that enough is enough. Get out and vote.
It's so important to just get out and vote.
It really is. If you want to make a change, you've got to exercise your right to vote. If the people who are in our governments are not taking care of the people who voted them in, then vote them out.
Our Attorney General, Drew Edmondson, has recently come out and spoken about needing to pass a law against hate crimes. So with a man like that speaking out, hopefully the ball will get rolling and we can get that law passed that we also desperately need, not just for us, but for all different types of minorities.
Exactly.
Okay, well, we will be right back after this. Stay with us, please.
You always have to be in control. When you're going out to a club and you're drinking or whatever it is, you always have to be in control. In control. In control. In control.
Respect yourself. Protect yourself.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I was talking to Desmond earlier. He said that this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and he will have some information for us on that next week.
Also, our director, Don Jennings, is in the hospital. Don, get well. We love you. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Good night. Thank you for joining us.